I've been friendly with the same group of people for roughly 20 years. It began during college and continued in New York, and together we survived the usual city plights of unemployment, railroad apartments, income disparities, bad relationships, and good marriages. My wife was the last to join us. I was nearly 30 when we met. By that time, the friendships had long since calcified, and it was fortunate she got along with the others so well as she did. We were married in City Hall on a damp October morning and afterward held a reception at Callan's Tavern on East 6th Street, in a back room built around a wood stove and what appeared to be a disused pulpit. Valentina's family was in Venezuela, and except for her sister, they were unable to attend. One by one, my college friends, who were also my New York friends, the closest people in my life at that time and for some years after, climbed the wooden stairs very solemnly like a clan of Bay Colony ministers and gave their respective toasts, each finding something genuine and personal to say about my new wife. In the years that followed, Valentina forged her own bonds and shared memories and secrets with the others. When the twins were born, she was the one who suggested we make Rami the godfather. It seemed to me such an old-fashioned and touching gesture that I worked hard to find a priest who would take us, two lapsed Catholics and their Muslim friend. I don't mention any of this because I think it a great distinction to remain acquainted with the people assigned to your freshman year housing. I only mean to impress that we were a unit and thought of ourselves that way and relied on one another to perform certain rituals and courtesies normally reserved for blood. When I was 25 and still in the throes of New York, I inherited a large house on the southeastern coast of Massachusetts on Buzzards Bay. It had been built several generations prior by an ancestor with a penchant for gables and would have passed to my mother and father had they been alive. The town where it was built, Patuxent, was a small place. I knew it well, having spent summers there looked after by aunts while my parents were abroad. It seemed to me an eccentric and slightly disreputable thing, owning a beach house at such a young age, but it cost relatively little to maintain, and I couldn't imagine selling. After 6 months of ownership and 3 blustery spring visits, when the bay was engorged and the locals all seemed to hurry about in sealskin, I came up with the plan that would later coalesce under the fairly ridiculous name of the Nanamit Sand and Swim Club, or the NSSC. I was just out of law school then and intoxicated with the idea of property and contractual obligations. I drew up the paperwork myself. The NSSC was a New York-style co-op, except that the property held in common was a long stretch of Nanamit Beach, carved out from the plot I inherited, 137 Hazel Drive. I distributed 4 shares, one each to my friends, for a grand total of $80 and kept the 5th for myself. With the unanimous consent of all stakeholders, a 6th share was issued to Valentina after we were married. Annual fees were $75, the collection of which was habitually waived, with proceeds strictly limited to beach upkeep and the purchase of towels and communal sundries.